is doing. He judges nations by what his people therein are doing. He judges the nations by what his people therein are doing. In every nation we discussed last time again, he has his people. The Lord's portion is his people. The Israel of God is the allotment of his inheritance. He's a judge of the nations. So when the nations, they experience indignation. The indignation of God manifests in a number of ways. Number one, natural disasters. I'm not in a particular order. I'm just giving it to you. One, natural disasters, wars. The other. He said they were interviewing one. This is another election. One television went to interview one of the candidates. As they were interviewing him, they were hearing behind. And they were like, what is going on? I said, look, just for the interview. Excuse me. You were hearing behind. In the background, they are in the sitting room conducting an interview. They were hearing things outside. And the reporters were like, excuse me, sir, what's going on? They can't say nothing is going on. Guys, continue the interview. This guy was living in a war zone. The Bible calls it sword. He brings a sword against a people. Then he also brings pestilences and wild beasts against people. That's what they call famine, or breaking the staff of bread. Your salary suddenly is worth half of what it was worth 6 months ago today. And then you turn and say, Buhari, God said, that is in itself is adding sin unto sin. I broke the staff of bread. One of the worst doctrines that is on this earth today is the one in which the glory of God has been given to the devil. When God breaks the staff of bread, he says the devil. God said, no, I'm the one that breaks the staff of bread. Read your Bible. Where did you see the devil break the staff of bread? He said, I call for a famine upon the land. God does it. He calls for famine upon the land. Why do we make it look like he doesn't? He does. Instead, I said, look, let there be no rain. And there's no rain. The other day I was thinking about, this coronavirus thing when it came out. Technology had advanced. Within a few months, they have sequenced what used to take years. People say they didn't plan nothing. It's just technology. Technology had advanced so that the genomic sequence of the virus could be brought out in a few weeks. And they did it in Lagos, so it's not that they did it everywhere. They do it now every week. That's why they can tell you a new strain is out. A new strain is out. A new technology for making vaccines was already out. The RNA thing. They've been working on it for a long time. So it's a good time to test it. They began to test it. The old technology was applied also. So you find live attenuated viruses. You find RNA viruses, vaccines, all of them out. And they said, come on, we are going to eradicate this thing. God started laughing. I realized a few days ago, because they do all the vaccines you want, I will make people not take it. And the Lord released a word into the air. And the people heard the rumor and said, we are not taking the vaccine. I said, God. I fear God. Because you can gather, I will scatter it. After they were looking at the technology. This technology, I will say to them, don't take. Those happening all over the world now. The so-called civilized countries. They mount protests against the vaccine mandate. That we have the right not to take. You sack a man for not taking, it drags you to court. And if you know America very well, once that thing gets to Supreme Court, America believes so much in human rights, freedom. And once they issue a statement, because we are not taking again, all your vaccines will rot where you kept them. Why? Because the law said you won't take it. If you know God then, you will be afraid of it. You can have a solution that God said it won't work. It was supposed to work, but he issued a word and said it will not work. So it calls for plagues, pestilences, famine. He breaks the staff of bread. And he said, in the midst of all of these things, please stop giving the glory to the devil. Realize that I am judging the nations. And when you don't realize it, you set the people up for greater judgment. I say this with conviction. I have no doubt in my mind. The way the church has been preaching about the political situation in Nigeria, 2023 will be worse. And the problem? The church. Nothing wrong with APC. See, you must understand, APC is nothing. PDP is nothing. He said, when you put them on a scale, they weigh less than nothing. Spiritually, they don't have weight. They can't make a counselor. Not talking about president. APC cannot make a president. They can't change a nation. PDP, yesterday when I watched a bit of the Anambra gubernatorial debate, the one between Andy Uba, Charles Oludo, and Zikle, what's his name? Is it Vincent? What is it? Valentine Ozigbo. Ozigbo. You are quarreling. What did you say? Who talked there? Is it that John? Okay, because John, you can't say anything. We're not talking about. Okay, Ozigbo. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. The three of them were talking. Valentine said something. He said, this is the PDP of today. These two people are PDP of the past. Did you notice that? I don't know if you watched it. And he was right. He said, look, we are the PDP of today. He said, basically all of us here are PDP. I'm today's PDP. The two of them are yesterday's PDP. And he was so correct. Of course, Charles Oludo was a strong economic player under Obasanjo's regime. And of course, Andy Uba they were yapping if that was Obasanjo's in a house. Yes. Some people don't know how to yap. But I told somebody where I was watching, I said, that is not a yap. That's not yap. That's a compliment. You should have just said it the biblical way. He was Obasanjo's cupbearer. That's what he was. That's Nehemiah in your Bible. You may be laughing and saying he was his houseboy. No. He was a man the president trusted to give him water to drink. You can be yapping him. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. The point I'm making is that, listen, they are all nothing. PDP recycling themselves. And I keep on telling people that the politicians are not, I'm not talking about whether they are the problem. They are definitely not the solution to Nigeria's problem. They are not. So it is a sin for a Christian to look to them for solution. The other day I saw Pastor Tunde Bakari was very angry. Now he went to the president's bedroom and showed him the document they all agreed on. I felt like I said, bros, calm down. He's a man. You're a prophet. You should know that he's a man. Don't be angry with him. He's a man. And he's not even a king, he's a president. And presidents, they are not a quarter as powerful as kings used to be. Because kings were both the executive, they were the law-making body, and they were the enforcement agency, and they were the judges. The king was the Supreme Court, he was the Senate president, and there was the commander-in-chief, an IG of police. That's what kings were. But this one is the president, which means that somebody else makes the law. Somebody else interprets the law. He can say something and the other people say he didn't say it. But I said, the Supreme Court said that was not what you meant. He's but a man. I'm going to emphasize something. Let's realize that God is a judge of the nations. If he says to a nation, prosper. See, let me tell you what that means. If he says to a nation, prosper, suddenly they'll be building aircraft carriers. They'll be manufacturing all kinds of things. Their land will produce so much, they'll be pouring grain into the ocean. That's what happened. He told Egypt, prosper. Egypt didn't know where the growth came from.